You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric D'Andretti, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 391, covering week 44, October 28th to November 3rd of 2024. The Sway 1.10 Compositing Manager has been released. It is built using the Wayland protocol and is compatible with the i3 Tiling Window Manager and the i3 Bar Panel. The project code is written in C and is distributed on the MIT license. The project is aimed at Linux and FreeBSD. Sway allows you to arrange windows on the screen logically rather than spatially. Windows are arranged in a grid that optimally uses the screen space and allows you to quickly manipulate windows using only the keyboard. Compatibility with i3 is provided at the level of commands, configuration files, and IPC, which allows you to use Sway as a transparent replacement for i3, but using Wayland rather than X11. To create a complete user environment, the following components are offered: Sway Idle, Sway Lock, Mako, Grim, Slurp, WF Recorder, Waybar, Vertboard, WL Clipboard, and Wall Utils. The developers of the Raspberry Pi project have presented a new version of Raspbian based on Debian 12 and the Linux 6.6 kernel. About 35,000 packages are available in the repository. 3 builds have been prepared for download: a reduced one for server systems, one with a basic desktop, and a full one with an additional set of applications, each available for 32 and 64-bit architectures. Additionally, an update has been formed for the legacy edition of Raspberry Pi OS based on Debian 11 and the Linux 6.1 kernel. The Flock project is presented, which is a fork of the Flutter user interface framework developed by Google under a BSD license. The initiator of the fork was Matt Carroll, a former Google employee who was part of the Flutter development team. The insufficient amount of resources that Google invests in the project caused this fork. The expansion of the Flutter core development team was stopped by Google in 2023, and in 2024 the company laid off some employees. According to the founders of the fork, the remaining developers and outsourced participants at Google are not enough for the full development of the project. As a result, the shortage of Flutter developers led to a change in priorities and stagnation in the development of the framework for desktop platforms. The shortage also negatively affects the elimination of problems, as some error messages can remain in the queue for years. The Flock project does not intend to split the established community and views itself as Flutter Plus, a fork synchronized with the main project, adding on top of the main Flutter community requested improvements and bug fixes that the main Flutter development team at Google cannot or will not implement. The goal of the project is to accelerate development and expand the resources involved. At the moment, the content of the Flock repository is completely consistent with the Flutter repository. Fedora Linux 41 is out. Products available for download are Fedora Workstation, Fedora Server, Fedora CoreOS, Fedora Cloudbase, Fedora IoT Edition, Fedora Silverblue, Fedora Kinoite, and live builds, delivered in the form of spins with desktop environments: KDE Plasma, XFCE, Mate, Cinnamon, LXDE, Phosh, Miracle, LXQT, Budgie, and Sway. The builds are generated for the x86-64, Power64, and ARM64 AArch64 architectures. Corrective releases of X.org Server 21.1.14 and the DDX Component X Wayland 24.1.4 have been published. They enable X.org Server to run X11 applications in Wayland-based environments. The new versions fix a vulnerability that can be exploited to escalate privileges on systems where the X server is running with root privilege, as well as for remote code execution and configurations where X11 session redirection via SSH is used for access. The problem is caused by a buffer overflow in the _xkb set compat map function, which occurs when attempting to change the size of the sim_interpret buffer while processing a specially formatted bitmap. Due to an error in setting the new size, this only changed the value of num_si, but left the value of size_si unchanged. The problem has been present since Xorg Server 1.1.1 was published in 2006. Shotcut 24.10 video editor has been published. It is being developed by the author of the MLT project and uses this framework for editing video. Support for video and audio formats is implemented via FFmpeg. It is possible to use plugins with the implementation of video and audio effects compatible with Fryor and Ladspa. Features include the ability to do multi-track editing with the composition of video from fragments in various source formats without the need for their preliminary import or recoding. There are built-in tools for creating screencasts, processing images from a webcam, and receiving streaming video. Qt is used to build the interface. The code is written in C++ and is distributed on the GPL v3 license. Ready-made assemblies are available for Linux as AppImage, Flatpak, and Snap, Mac OS, and Windows. Audacity 3.7 has been released. It provides tools for editing audio files, OGG, Vorbis, FLAC, MP3, and WAV, recording and digitizing audio, changing audio file parameters, overlaying tracks, and applying effects. Audacity 3.7 is the seventh major release since the project was acquired by Muse Group. Audacity's code is licensed under the GPL v3 license, and binary builds are available for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. IX Systems has released TrueNAS Scale 24.10, a distribution based on the Linux kernel and Debian. Like TrueNAS Core, formerly FreeNAS, TrueNAS Scale can be downloaded and used for free. The source code for TrueNAS Scale-specific build scripts, web interface, and layers is available on GitHub. TrueNAS Scale Edition is now the main edition, and the FreeBSD-based TrueNAS Core branch has been moved to maintenance mode, where it plans to continue to fix bugs and security issues for several more years. New features and new component versions will only be developed in the TrueNAS Scale branch. TrueNAS Scale is not the only Linux-based FreeNAS variant. In 2009, FreeNAS forked the Open Media Vault distribution, which was ported to the Linux kernel and Debian package base. Backbox Linux 9 has been published. It is based on Ubuntu 24.04 with the Mate environment and comes with a collection of tools for checking system security, testing exploits, reverse engineering, analyzing network traffic and wireless networks, studying malware, stress testing, and detecting hidden or lost data. The user environment is based on XFCE. The new version marks the transition to Ubuntu 24.04, an update to the XFCE environment, and updates the Linux kernel to 6.8, as well as the delivery of new versions of security testing tools and improvements in anonymous mode. In addition, the release of Parrot 6.2 has been published based on Debian 12 and including a selection of tools for checking the security of systems, conducting forensic analysis, and reverse engineering. The Parrot distribution is positioned as a portable laboratory with an environment for security experts and forensic experts, focusing on tools for checking cloud systems and Internet of Things devices. The distro also includes cryptographic tools and programs for providing secure access to a network, including Tor, I2P, AnonSurf, GPG, TCCF, ZuluCrypt, VeraCrypt, TrueCrypt, and LUX. The new release updates system packages and specialized applications, including Linux kernel 6.10. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.